Hello, everyone. My name's Tim Oldham. I'm the CEO and Managing Director at AdAlta, and it is my great pleasure to provide you with this update on our progress at this really exciting time for our company. AdAlta is a Melbourne, Australia-based drug discovery and development company using our iBody platform to discover novel protein therapeutics against drug targets where traditional monoclonal antibody drugs have been unsuccessful. In other words, we go where the wildly successful monoclonal antibody drugs have still not been able to reach. Our business can be thought of as a discovery business where we find iBodies, candidates against interesting drug targets. These can be then partnered or developed into products ourselves. And that brings us on to our product development business, where we develop therapeutic candidates through stages of preclinical development and early clinical development in the fields of fibrosis and inflammation and immuno-oncology prior to out-licensing to larger pharmaceutical companies. Our portfolio today comprises of 5 programs, as well as the ongoing potential for drug discovery using our iBody platform. Our lead program is AD214, treating degenerative and fatal fibrotic diseases. The lead indication is a disease called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which is a debilitating disease affecting 500,000 people around the world each year, for which there are no good treatments. Our second program comprises 3 development and discovery efforts in the field of CAR T cell therapy. Here we're working with Australian biotechnology company Carina to discover and develop iBody-enabled CAR T cell therapies against solid cancers. The idea here is that we're re-engineering a patient's own immune systems to be able to go and find and then fight cancer. And our iBodies are critical to being able to target those novel immune cells in order to achieve that objective. And our 5th program is in the field of immuno-oncology as well, where we're working with the world's largest diagnostic imaging company, GE Healthcare, to develop novel PET imaging agents where the radioisotope generating the image is directed to its target by AdAlta's iBody technology. As we've already discussed, this is a repeatable business model. Our iBody platform can be used by ourselves or in collaboration with other partners to develop novel modalities in a whole range of areas. Now, in 2024, we're focused very much on 3 key objectives. The first is to realise the value of our investment in AD214 that we've made over many years now, with a view to generating a first return on investment for our shareholders, as well as financing the progress of this important asset into phase 2 clinical trials. Achieving this objective enables us to unlock the second and third strategic objectives, which is to continue to progress our existing iBody-enabled immuno-oncology programs, and to further invest in our iBody platform and pipeline. And the important thing to realise about all of these 3 strategies is that they all have near-term transaction potential attached. And those transactions will continue to unlock the value that we've been building and that we see in our iBody platform. Now, what I'd like to do today is highlight the first really important achievement we made against that first milestone. We've just completed a phase 1 clinical extension study of AD214, which is critical for not only preparing that molecule for phase 2 clinical trials, but also for preparing for partnering. Now, let me turn to those results, really exciting results, in brief. The phase 1 extension study was testing multiple doses of AD214 administered intravenously at the doses we anticipate taking into phase 2 clinical trials, namely 10 milligrams per kilogram every 2 weeks. The 2-week interval is really important because that's the minimum interval required between intravenous doses to be clinically convenient to enable adoption in a chronic disease setting. We were testing 3 things in our phase 1 study. First, we were testing the safety of IV AD214, and we found that multiple doses were extremely well tolerated with no dose-limiting toxicities and only mild adverse events. This is significant because it establishes a safety profile necessary to advance this dose into phase 2 clinical trials. The second thing we were looking at was ensuring the availability and activity of AD214 was consistent with our predictions and therefore offered the potential for efficacy in phase 2. We showed that the availability of the drug as measured by pharmacokinetic parameters, the maximum and concentration in the blood and the total exposure of the body to 8214, and the pharmacodynamic or activity measures, in this case white cell counts and receptor occupancy, were consistent across multiple doses of 8214 and in line with model predictions. This means, and is significant because it confirms that the potential efficacy of 8214 at this dose interval has been demonstrated. And this gives us greater confidence and reduces the risk associated with the phase 2 clinical program. And the third objective we had was to test the effect of anti-drug antibodies on the availability and activity of 8214. Protein therapeutics commonly generate an immune response. The objective of drug development is to ensure that that immune response is as low as possible. What we've been able to demonstrate is that anti-drug antibodies are indeed present at very, very low levels. And more importantly, they have demonstrated no evidence of any effect on the PK or PD parameters. This shows and is significant because it confirms that anti-drug antibodies or other immune responses are unlikely to detract from clinical safety or efficacy. Now, the safety, the potential efficacy, and the absence of anti-drug antibody effects not only are critical for us to move this molecule into phase 2, they are also critical questions that larger biopharmaceutical licensing partners have been asking about 8214. And so by demonstrating these results, we have comprehensively addressed the clinical questions we've received to date from pharmaceutical companies as we advance a well-established pipeline of licensing discussions to progress 8214 into phase 2 clinical trials. Our objective from here is to finance those phase 2 clinical trials either by out-licensing 8214 completely to a large pharmaceutical company or to co-develop this asset with a asset finance special purpose vehicle, attracting financial and strategic investors in the asset alone. These non-dilutive mechanisms will raise significant capital for AdAlta, as well as generating that first and important return on the investment we've made in this asset to date. So in summary, AdAlta is a company with near-term momentum and opportunities for shareholders. We have a really attractive current valuation and fundamentals. Our enterprise value is around 11 million Australian dollars. We have a strong and supportive institutional register. We have a differentiated technology, and importantly, we have an in-house R&D team. We're not dependent on external collaborators for our discovery efforts. Momentum is accelerating towards a return on 8214 investment. The new phase 1 extension study clinical data achieves a critical milestone for both partnering and phase 2 readiness. There is an active partnering market for IPF assets commanding upfront license payments of more than $45 million US. And we have multiple partnering strategies in play, not just for 8214, but for other assets. We are continuing to work hard to build our pipeline of assets and opportunities to follow on from 8214, and we're really excited about the opportunity that exists for our shareholders and investors. Our contact details can be found here, and we look forward to engaging with our investor community to answer any questions that you may have. We're very, very excited about 2024 for 8214 and for AdAlta. Thank you very much.